up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and on this channel I like to talk about all of the things that I read, and I read in many different genres such as science fiction, horror, fantasy, nonfiction, literary fiction, classics, short stories. And one thing that you can find in many of those are independent or self-published authors. That is the focus of today's video. I am happy to announce that in the month of July, starting with July 1st all the way to July 31st, there is a really fun readathon called the Indie Accords Readathon, and that is hosted by Lana, who runs the channel Lore and Lullabies. She also runs a blog where she reviews books as well. I'm going to have all of her information linked below, as well as all of the team captains that are involved in this fun readathon. Those of you who are interested in participating in the readathon, when I say it starts July 1st and runs through July 31st, that is in each of your respective time zones. The purpose of the Indie Accords Readathon is just to help encourage readers to give indie and self-published authors a chance. I have read some of the most amazing books that were written by independent or self-published authors. It's just important to remember, the larger authors, they didn't start out that way. Everybody starts somewhere. And it's just easier for a new author to self-publish than it is to get picked up by an editor these days. Some things I love about independent and self-published books, they usually have gorgeous covers. Absolutely, some of the most beautiful books I own are indie and self-published, and they are beautiful. Secondly, the author gets to retain full creative control. An editor is not going to change their story or say, we need you to cut this out or put this in, because that's the big thing that we're pushing right now. Basically fitting them in the cookie cutter mold of whatever is popular at the time. So I love that the author gets to retain full creative control. We get that story just as they intended to tell it. Huge shout out to Lana for putting this together, because she and I share an intense love for the indie and self-published world, and I am just so excited to open the doors on a lot of these authors for you guys. Thirdly, almost all self-published and independent published books are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a subscription, it costs you nothing to read these books. It's included in your subscription. And if you don't have a subscription, they are almost always doing 30 days free or 2 months free. So you can sign up and try that service for free while you're trying these new authors. This could open up so much possibilities for your reading life. Now it's time for me to introduce to you each of the team captains and the team that they are the captain of. Because yes, this is a friendly competition that has a giveaway. Team Fantasy Science Fiction is led by none other than my wonderful friend Lana from the channel Sufficiently Advanced Lana. I have been a long-time fan and follower of Lana's channel. She is absolutely fantastic. Reads more science fiction and fantasy a month than anybody else I know, besides Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book. Lana is so well read. She is the absolute perfect choice for this team. Team Historical Fiction, Contemporary, and Lit is headed up by Mel from the channel A Book Fiend Named Mel. Mel is super sweet. If you have watched her channel, I know you're already in love with her. We are so lucky to have her heading up this team, because she is another booktuber who reads in many different genres. It's always such a fun surprise to click on a video and see what she's going to be talking about. Mel hosts reading sprints on her channel every other Sunday evening. So I imagine for the month of July, you're going to see some familiar faces over there doing some reading. So be looking for announcements from her on that to see if she has anything fun planned. So if you love reading sprints, definitely keep your eye on Mel's channel. Team Romance is headed up by Chelsea Zhao. I love Chelsea's channel. My favorite thing that I love to hear from her about are comics and manga. She's one of the few booktubers I watch that covers a lot of manga. That's something I've been getting into over the last year and a half myself. So I love seeing what she talks about. I'm all the time looking at her shelves to see if she's added anything new that I can pick her brain about. And then the final team is Team Thriller, Horror, and Mystery, headed up by yours truly. I am absolutely thrilled to be heading up this team. I have a lot of really great recommendations for indie and self-pub author in these categories. There's going to be a link to Lana's blog in the description box down below that goes over all of this information that I'm sharing with you. One of the resources that we have is a place where you can put in recommendations of indie and self-pub books that fit the prompts that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. I've submitted a bunch of recommendations for books that fit these prompts already, but of course we would always welcome more. Those are the teams. Now it's time for you to declare your allegiance and register for the team you would like to be on. You can still take part and not register, but if you want to be eligible for the giveaway, you will need to register at the link in the description box down below by June 28th. There will be 2 prizes up for grabs for those who have registered and completed all of the prompts. Those that win, you get to choose anything off of your Amazon or Book Depository wish list up to $30 Australian currency. Let's quickly talk about the rules for the Indie Accords Readathon. Rule number 1. Declare your TBR on one or all of your socials. When you do that, make sure you use the hashtag Indie Accords Readathon and tag Indie Accords. As far as the literature that you're choosing to read for your prompts, if you can find it on Goodreads, it counts. Novella, middle grade, manga, audiobooks, all of that counts. If you find it on Goodreads and it's 150 pages or more, it counts. You can also double up on your reading prompts and end up completing all of the prompts by reading a total of 5 books. So choose wisely. And remember, the books that qualify are self-published, independently published, or boutique published. If there are any questions regarding how it's published, if you're not quite sure, please don't hesitate to send a DM either on Twitter or Instagram. I've got both of those on the screen for you, and I'll have them in the description box down below as well. All right. Next, points. Each completed prompt is worth 30 points. If you use the same book for more than one prompt, while it will complete the prompt for the giveaway, you only get the 30 points. If you want additional points, it has to be a different book. Each team is going to have a team book read, and then there is one overall group read. These 2 books count for an additional 20 points each. So if you do one and not the other, you get 20 points. If you do both, you get 40 extra points. The ultimate goal of this readathon is to get more people reading indie published books. So if you happen to read an indie published book that doesn't fit a prompt, that's okay. You can still get points, but it only gets half the points. So any indie or self-pub book that you read that doesn't fit a prompt will still get you 15 points. To be eligible for the prizes, you're going to need a total of 150 points. Now let's talk about the prompts. There are 10 reading challenges in total. I'm going to put the bingo card here so you can see all of the prompts. As you can see, looking at the card, there are 8 reading prompts and 1 bookish prompt. And in addition to those, you're gonna have 1 team book and 1 group read book too. First prompt, do we have an accord? Which is to read a book featuring the pirates or the sea or near the sea. Next, we have Everything Hurts. Read a book with a middle-aged main character. I feel attacked by that one. Next, we have One Heart. Read a book with LGBTQIA+ representation. The next prompt, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Hard Yakka. Read a book by an Australian or New Zealand author. The next prompt, You Are Not Alone. Read a book with an ensemble cast or a platonic friendship. Next, we have The Little Guy. Read an indie middle grade. And then the final prompt, which is the center of your bingo card, is to write a review for one of the indie books that you read. There is going to be a Google form used to collect all of your points. So when you complete a book, you're going to go and fill out this form. You're also going to need to link your review there, so make sure you have that handy. That takes care of all the prompts. Let's talk about this group read and team reads that I've been mentioning. Now, both of these are completely optional, but you do get extra points for doing one or both. I know a lot of folks don't like knowing too much about their books going in. They don't read synopsis, so I'm not going to read those here for you, but all of this information is going to be linked in the description box down below, where to register, how to submit points, and a synopsis for the group and team read books. So team fantasy and science fiction, their team read is going to be The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, and that book is absolutely amazing. Team historical, contemporary, and lit, your team read is The Rain Heron by Robbie Arnott. Or maybe that's Arnaud. I'm not sure. Team romance, you'll be reading Along for the Ride by Mimi Grace. And then finally, my team horror mystery thriller, I chose The Patience of a Dead Man by Michael Clark, which is my absolute most favorite haunted house story ever. And I am going to reread it with you, and I absolutely cannot wait. That's everything. A quick recap. The Indie Accords Readathon takes place the entire month of July. Whatever time zone July 1st is for you is when it starts. Whatever time zone July 31st ends for you is when it ends. You can register anytime starting now. You just need to make sure you're signed up by June 28th if you want to be eligible for the giveaway prizes. You need to have your TBR declared with the hashtag Indie Accords Readathon, or tag at Indie Accords on any of your social medias. There is an Indie Accords Discord that I believe you can put your TBR there and it count. I will double check with Lana to make sure. You need 150 points to be eligible to win one of the giveaways, and points can be accumulated by completing prompts and doing the group and or team read. Any questions, please do not hesitate to send a DM on either Twitter or Instagram. Again, those handles are listed here for you, and a link to Lana's blog is going to be in the description box down below, where she goes into even more detail along with the synopsis for the team and group reads. All of the team captains, I will have their channels listed below as well, so check them out and decide which team you would like to be on. If you would like to just participate in the readathon for fun, you don't want to register and declare a team or put anything on your socials, that is absolutely fine. This readathon is strictly just for fun and to encourage more reading of independent and self-published authors. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you take part in this readathon, or if you don't, I hope it encourages you to at least go check out some independent and self-published authors, because there are so many out there. I'm not kidding. Some of the best books I've read the last year and a half have come from independent or self-published authors. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have had a wonderful start to your morning. I hope the rest of your day is fantastic. I'll catch you in the next one.